Don't blink. Here's your boy Ink. Welcome to the show. Guys, I'm doing well. Guys, are having a wonderful day on this 23 May 2025. I wish I could make it brighter, the light. However, we don't have electricity. Um, it sucks. I don't have electricity at all. So I want to make content right now. We've been waiting for 2 hours just to get the electricity back. So yeah. If we are lucky, we are lucky. If we're not lucky, we're not lucky. I'm gonna be talking about. I'm trying to get the lighting as much as possible. I don't know if I can increase the lighting here. Um, I can't. I can't. Okay, It's not a big deal. Today we're making a video. So I've been talking about treating content creating as a hobby lately. So taking a step back and just enjoying what making content was supposed to be about, and it was supposed to be about just how can I say it? It was supposed to be just about. You're not gonna see me either way. I tried. Well, this is not bad. This isn't bad, per se. It was supposed to always be a plan B. A lot of people, you guys know the story, right? Everybody treats this as a plan B, as a dream, as a possible. I treat it as a plan A right away. I treat it as no, this gonna happen, and I'm gonna make it, right? And then when I was thinking about when I was thinking about sorry, I'm trying to find a way to make it brighter, but I can't. When I was thinking about taking a break, I was like, dude, you kind of wasted 4 years. So of course, the brain goes into freak out mode, and the brain goes into a mode of well, uh, what did you do in the last 4 years? And the idea that came in is, if I stop the content now, what is the number one lesson that would have? And the number one lesson that would have is actually quite simple. What did content bring me? I could say if I was really really cute, I could say I had some friends. But you see, today we don't have electricity, we don't have Wi-Fi, so those friends are which are online. I'm like, oh, and it's crazy because it happened last week, and last week we were in position of, dude, I kind of fell down and back into depression because of the lack of electricity. So today we're really focusing. I'm doing something I shouldn't do. I'm connected to the Wi-Fi that is the LTE on this phone. So this phone does have data. Right then on the Wi-Fi, the problem is, I don't know how much Wi-Fi I'm going to be using. I'm possibly going to be using. I don't think I'm going to be using my 32 gigs tonight, but who knows? And I gotta say, it's such a hard thing because what the content brings me, and it brought me so much. So I was like, okay, well, it brought you so much, but you did work for it. So what is the one thing that I changed in your life, right? And then the whole mentality of Ink Vendetta is the change, right? So Ink and Stefan are the same person, of course, but they act different. And I was like, what if one made Ink different? See, it's cool because again, the house. See, there's always heat in the house because I live in a building where the heating is included, but it's one heating unit for the whole building. And I live with a lot of old people that don't have muscle mass, and because they don't have muscle mass, it's colder. So there's always heat in the apartment. So right now it feels colder than it is because I'm used to hotter. And I was like, okay, well, who's better in my opinion, Stefan and Ink Vendetta? Well, technically speaking, without it's such a crazy question. Without Stefan, there's no Ink Vendetta, and without Ink Vendetta, there is a Stefan, right? So it's the opposite, right? So Ink Vendetta being an extension of Stefan, but Stefan not being an extension of Ink, allows me to process. Okay, well, Ink is the lesser version, right? However, in the last 4 years, Ink has accomplished more than Stefan has in his own life, his whole life. Now, I know what you're saying. Ink, it's not possible that in the last 4 years you've worked more than you ever did. Now, this is not true. Financially, Ink has done pennies. Has gotten pennies. Emotionally speaking, Ink never had a successful relationship. I did. Stefan did, right? I had internet romance, but it was long distance and didn't work. Am I saying that long distance will not work? No. Am I saying that it takes ball of steel? Yes. Sadly, we have balls of titanium. which is not the same thing. I checked it out, and not the same thing. Um, so that being said, why is, in my opinion, Ink a much better use of my time? Well, in 4 years, we accomplished something that we never had before, was developing a dream, developing a community. See, in my entire life, and this is more of a problem of Steph, right? Um, I always been part of a group. I never led a group. Now, is my goal to lead a group? No, of course not. However, if the group in question is only allowing you to be with them because you're following them, I was following them. I believe a lot of people are going to say there's leader and followers, and I don't agree with that. There's people who can, and your group of friends, who can have more leadership. There's a person in a relationship who can have more leadership. It doesn't make you a follower. A follower will follow you all the time. I can be listening to friends and they're saying something stupid, and I say, no, you're fucking wrong. Does that make me a follower? Does that make me a leader? No. It makes me a guy with a different opinion, right? I wouldn't say, would I go as far as saying equal? Possibly. Possibly. If you're starting from if you're starting from a logic or a concept of we're both people with opinion, right? They're the same value. Now, if the person has more research and has more knowledge and has more fact on on this concept than you, then their opinion is more valuable because their opinion is more factual when yours is more emotional, right? But at the very start, you're both people with an opinion, right? And then, on principle like religion and principle like afterlife, there's no concrete proof. So no matter how much a person has studied the Bible or the Quran or the Torah or any single religious book, there's no factual proof, you know. So your opinion and this opinion would be the same, which would put you in equal and not a leadership and following position. Now, I constantly talk about leadership, about relationship lately. The reason as to why is because it's so crazy to me. But everything is a relationship right now. So I have, you see, if I do this, I'm completely dark, can't see shit. I wish I had lights. I do have light though, but I just don't like it. Look, I can do this, and then you see me a bit better, right? I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm so sorry, guys. If I had internet, I would. There's possibly a way though. Okay, I'll put you here. Ah, so now we have my tablet. I'll show you. We have my tablet. Well, my tablet has a glass, and glass will reflect light, so that's a goal. If glass can reflect light, then I'm good. If glass cannot reflect light, then I'm fucked. Is that better? It's a bit better. It's a bit better. There you go. A little bit of MacGyver over here. MacGyver with a with next to nothing. So I talk about relationship, and the reason I talk about relationship a lot is I've always been this solitary wolf, right? One of my tattoo is a wolf, so it's solitary, right? A lone wolf. But lately, with work, with community, and life, I'm finding myself to be in more and more situation where I have to deal with people, but it's still in a case where I'm dealing with somebody. For example, I have this debt toward the government. The government isn't a person, but I'm never talking to a group of people, right? I'm having this action of giving out CVs. I give out a CV to someone, and I'm hoping they're hiring me. I'm not hoping that a company hiring me. I'm hoping that someone hire me. Someone that has enough heart to say, hey, maybe I shouldn't put his fucking resume in the garbage, right? And if I'm lucky, they won't. If I'm not lucky, they will. And then I have no chance of being hired because who looks in the garbage except for ink? See, I said ink, not Stefan. Before you call me disgusting, it's not me. So all of this is relationship, right? And there you go. You see, this is much better. But then you don't see me. Fuck. Yo no say chifach. I could do like this. This is actually pretty. Oh, I have to kind of hold it, and I have to kind of hold it like this. If I hold it like this, we're good. Okay, that's good. That's good. I like it. It's not ideal, but it's not worse. So I'm always talking about the relationship because I'm often dealing with one thing. For example, the rent, that's a relationship. The work, that's a relationship. The debt, that's a relationship. The content, that's a relationship with myself, right? And then Ink and Stefan, weirdly speaking, are in a relationship. Did you know there was such a thing as self-cest? So there's such a thing as incest, which is fucking your family, and there's self-cest, which you're fucking yourself, which is crazy. Then I'm in a relationship with myself. Now there is, again, there's balance. You guys know how much balance means to me. The yin, the yang, the good, the evil, the right, the wrong, the righteous, the non-righteous, the emotional, the factual. Balance has always been something that was part of me. What if this yin and yang with Stefan Ink? Ink will allow me to do so much more. But when I present myself as Stefan. When I'm meeting someone, I'm hoping they enjoy who I am, which is Stefan. I don't go like, oh, yo, I'm Ink Vendetta. Do you know Ink Vendetta, bro? 8,900 something followers on TikTok. What's up? And I've been having a hard time with this. And I've been having a hard time with this as a during the winter, the relationship between Ink and Steph, in a sense of I don't feel like Steph has done a lot. I put so much focus on Ink for the 4 last years that I don't know who is Steph is anymore, right? Just imagine, right? Ink is a mask, right? Let's just call it like that. You guys know how much I love mask. I'm obsessed with mask because of Majora's Mask. Let's imagine ourselves with Ink being a mask, right? And we've been so focused on making content that we've been wearing this mask for 4 years, right? And now we're finally taking the mask off, right? And I'm like, who the fuck is this guy, right? It's like a guy who stays in for 4 years and get out and the city around him changed. And I'm like, where the fuck am I? I know where I am, but it changed. I don't recognize it. Isn't that crazy? But then I'm faced with another construct, and that other construct is, what if Ink was the best person, right? Technically speaking, I'm willing to sacrifice Ink, or I'm willing to sacrifice Stefan, and hope that I'm finding the good person. The good person being the one that's the most equipped to deal with the situation. Again, I did a video like that last week. Men with a plan versus men with a tool, right? Steph might be the guy with a plan, but Ink is the guy with a tool. So then, go back to this concept of this video. What does 4 years of content allow me to do? Well, the 4 years of content, if I had to do one lesson, take risk. I talked about so many shit that didn't make sense. I did so many stupid shit. I had so many friendship, relationship, close, open. I lost some friend, I gained some friend, I lost some friend, I gained some friend, right? I can count on my 2 hands the number of friends that I made that are true friends during these 4 years, right? And that's insane. That's crazy. That is nuts. That is bananas. But at the same time, it might be something that's positive. It might be something. So then, just be myself, right? I used to be so shy. I used to be, and the shy is not a good word. I used to be so uncomfortable in my own skin that I became shy. I became recluse. I became a shut-in. I would be afraid of confrontation. I would be afraid to give out CVs because the interview on Friday asked me, why are you working for the agency? Well, because I'm too shy to give out CVs. Hell yeah. Can't say that, right? So they treat me right, so I feel like it's a second home. Not a stable home, so I'm looking for a more stable home, and that's why your company is something I would like to be. I would like to be part of because you seem like a genuine good company. Kind of the bullshit, right? If they won't watch this. Okay, that's exactly what I said. And then I did so many shit. Aang doesn't have fear. I'll go in live and talk about myself. I'll go to talk to people and be comfortable to talk about myself, right? And again, it's not a case of you talk about yourself, dude. It's more a case of I'm comfortable enough to say, hey, this is me, right? At first, I'm a guy that likes to talk a lot, but I was so shy that I would listen to people, and in my head, I would have this conversation of what I would like to answer, but I couldn't answer, right? So this confidence and this don't give a shit. I felt so much, and this is one of the biggest lessons I've learned. It's a negative lesson, of course, but I felt so much like I wanted people to like me. I wanted people to like me so badly. I was willing to change who I was for people to like me, right? But then I realized that those friendships weren't based on me. They were based on what I could bring them. So, some fame, some shout-outs, some success, right? They saw me as a easy way to the top, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. If this is how you want to get to the top, that's cool. That's super cool. And I shouldn't be able to judge it, nor should anybody should be able to judge it. That's your personal choice. That's your personal way of seeing thing. And if that's your personal way of seeing thing, more power to you, brother. More power to you, brother. Um, but at the same time, it's kind of shitty because this is not a friendship. This is a relationship. See, imagine, and I wanted this to be ingrained in your brain. Imagine you're at work, right? And you call somebody your friends, but this person call you colleague. Now, colleague and friend is pretty similar, right? We're not gonna argue on the semantic of a difference between friendship and co-workership, right? We're not gonna argue with that. However, imagine that they're not able to refer to you as friend, right? And for you, they're a coworker, yes, but they're also a friend. But for them, you're just a coworker. So even though the two are extremely similar, there's a difference. There's a difference, right? Like, holy shit, that's kind of shitty, right? Now, with this person, the relationship change. Does the fact that you see them as friend, but they don't see you as friend change? And if yes, why are you still a friend with that person? Now, in my opinion, that's a good question. That's a good ass question, right? And I just don't know. So what I'm trying to say with that is, I tried so hard for people to, I worked so hard for people to like me. But when it came to it, them liking me or not, didn't really change shit, right? Because those friendships were not meant to be. I am not looking to please anybody. I'm not looking to please a stranger. Hey, when I ask a stranger, hey, what can I change for you to like me? I don't fucking know you, dude. I don't care, right? Is this sense of I don't care, the sense of people are gonna hate regardless. And then there's people that are gonna say, hey, if they hate you doing something right, they're just jealous. But I don't believe that. What if their hate wasn't meaningful, right? You don't like me? That's cool. That's cool. I'm not gonna change myself for somebody that I don't even know, right? So this confidence that I gain as in vendetta, this confidence that I gain, but also this non-care that I gain, I kind of made I feel invincible, and not invincible in a physical sense of a term, but I'm feeling like I can face situation a what you call it, a social aspect. For example, as stupid as it is, last week on Sunday, I went to see my uncle, and my uncle is still trying to figure out how to do it. I can't. I am gonna give up because I don't know how to do it. With my uncle, my very own uncle, and I was kind of shy. I know I told you guys that I wasn't part of the family because I didn't want to be the black sheep. I didn't want to be the guy who, oh, woe is me, right? But the reality is, I left for a year, then 2 years, and then I was just like, I kind of abandoned them. They didn't abandon me, I abandoned them. And I felt bad about it, right? I felt really bad about it. Right? And that was kind of shitty. That was really shitty. That was really, really shitty. Again, not because they did anything wrong, but because not because I did anything wrong, but because I wasn't comfortable in my own skin. I went to this and I realized how much those people still care about me, right? And this was so special because those people don't even know Ink. Those people don't even know Ink, they know Stefan. I had Shao yesterday message me out of the blue. I'm like, you never give a shit about Ink. You still care about Stefan, right? There is this purpose in there. See, when you spend your whole life living on the edge, you don't necessarily get a lot of people liking you, right? And that's fine. And then when you get people liking you, like, okay, well, they like this person, would like to pass me. There's this stupid quote of, if I was a worm, would you still like me? Right? And it's a stupid question, but at the same time, if I was a worm, physically speaking, but emotionally speaking, and in personality, I was still the same, would you still like me? Right? So this general feeling of, I'm looking to be liked, but I don't care by whom. And this sounds horrible in the sense of, oh, please like me, no matter who you are. But I'll see people that, hey, if you like me, cool. I had some really good friendship that went away because I wasn't partaking in their life, or I wasn't liking their shit. And I was like, dude, that is so fucking stupid, right? Doesn't make any sense, but that's the way they feel, so I'm okay, no problem. What was I saying? If this is their lesson, the lesson would be in a social aspect, being more comfortable in my own skin. And it's kind of crazy because if being comfortable in my own skin means that I have to wear the mask of ink, it is still me. And this is the beauty of ADHD. I was talking about being a worm and would you still like me? And I was making a joke, right? But if I was wearing the mask of ink and the ink was still me, would you still like it? I've asked myself, it's funny. You realize that people are kind of using you, and you realize that people are kind of for themselves, right? And the question that you ask yourself is, or the reaction that you have is, fuck those people, they don't deserve my friendship. The it's so nuts. The reaction is never, well, if I was myself, would they like me? Right? Technically speaking, this is contradictory. They like me for what I can bring them. They don't like me for me. But if I wasn't this person and we were just talking, see, this is the most important part. A person will use you for an opportunity, right? A person will use you for an opportunity when they see this opportunity. But if they don't see an opportunity, they won't use you because cannot bring anything, right? For example, I have this Maserati car, right? People say, oh, I love driving in Maserati, right? And you're blaming them because, dude, if I didn't have the Maserati, we wouldn't be friends. But you're giving them the opportunity to use you for Maserati because you have Maserati. So what is the answer here? If you have nothing to give to people, they won't use you. If you show that you have things to give to people, then they'll use you. So it's kind of on you to not be used, right? Which kind of sucks. So yes, this comfortability, this assurance is this confidence. There's confidence. I was talking to a guy who I knew from way back, and I was talking to him, and he wasn't doing well, and I wasn't doing well, so I was kind of helping him because this person is very similar to me, very similar to me, very similar to me. I see him, and I see a 26 years old ink. I see a 25, 26 years old ink who's depressed, who wants to, right? And I was talking to him because helping him felt like, yes, I was using him. Absolutely, I was using him. Helping him will feel like helping this past version of myself that I couldn't help. So I couldn't save myself, but I can save someone who's like me, and that kind of feels like I'm saving myself, right? And he was talking to me, and he kept on talking about how he was proud of his account, which he had 2,500 followers. And I was like, did I ever tell people that I had 9,000 followers? Did I ever use that? And the craziest thing with that is people will say, hey, you got 9,000 followers. And they'll come to the live and say, there's nobody here. Or they say, hey, you barely get some views, you barely get some likes. Right? And people, they give out this value to your empire, right? They give this value to the empire, but at the same time, this value is so meaningful but meaningless. It's meaningful for them, it's meaningless for you, or it's meaningful for you and it's meaningless for them. I was that guy who told my parents, Dad, Mom, I'm so close to making something out of myself. Just believe in me. And I still not something that I can be proud of myself. I'm still not where I want to be. I'm still not half where I want to be. So what do I tell them? You were right, I was wrong? Or am I still fighting? Right? Am I still fighting? And if I'm still fighting, is it still to prove them wrong? Do I still need to prove them wrong? Where's that need coming from? Is it coming from a desire to prove myself? Is it a desire to be acknowledged? Or is it a desire that stem from insecurities? Right? Well, secretly, I kind of believe that I cannot make it, and because my parents believe that I cannot make it, then I tend to agree with them, right? Type shit. But if I'm feeling less insecure, does it actually means? If I'm feeling less insecure, does it actually mean that I don't need to prove myself? If this desire to prove yourself is stemming from insecurities, but this default that you have, this flaw that you have, is gone, right? What does it mean? What does it mean? Does your insecurity, all what it brings, all of the needing to for XYZ, if your insecurity is gone, does XYZ is gone too, right? Or maybe this confidence coming from a denial, right? Maybe instead of saying I don't care what people think of me, it's more so I cannot control what they think of me, so I cannot really expect them to like me or hate me, right? So I just go with the flow, and if they like me, hell yeah, we won. And if they don't like me, well, shit, they didn't like me, right? And I don't know. It feels like I'm leaving. I'm not leaving making content, but you know what I mean. Feels like I'm leaving this full-time dream with more question than answer, right? But that's in itself. When I started this video, I had a clearer mind of where I wanted to go. This confidence, this level-headedness, these number of social experiences that I've learned, talking to a bunch of people, having this community, having this dream, and being close to this dream, but then far from the dream, having constant growth as a content creator, yet it leading nowhere, right? Or that was a point. That was a point. I was like, holy shit, we came along so far, and the fact that I was able to pursue a dream with the wow, okay. The growth and the possibility of where we could go could have been the answer. The fact that I was able to believe in myself, to live the dream, the fact that I was able to have these last 4 years with nothing but a dream, some save money, eating ramen like a fucking brokey. Ramen is still fucking good, trust me. That was possibly the answer. But maybe the biggest, that is insane. See, this was the original plan, this was the answer. But I realized, talking about it, that I'm leaving with more question than answer, right? So what if the biggest lesson or the biggest gain I got from 4 years of making content, right, was I now have more question than answer? And then you're saying, dude, this is not positive. Well, it kind of is. Me leaving with more question than answer means that I care enough to ask those questions. That I'm actively looking for an answer, right? And me actively looking for an answer is me caring enough, right? The smartest people weren't people who had knowledge. The smartest people was people that asked questions because they cared enough, you know? And yeah, maybe me asking myself more questions means me getting more answer. I was talking about this, and I was like, holy shit, I wish I had started making content at 24. I was talking with this with Butler TV, who also gave up on making content. And Butler was like, yeah, but the fact that we're older, because he's older also, is a better thing, because it brought us some experience, it brought us some maturity, right? What if me asking those questions led me to maturity? What if I wasn't even mature enough or even grown enough to comprehend or to have a general vision of life? Making content is life. I'm not a Fortnite streamer. I'm not a Minecraft streamer. I'm just a dude with a camera, you know? I'm just a dude with a camera. I think that's kind of nice. I feel that's kind of nice. I feel like this is so positive. I feel like $1 million. Fuck a dream. Fuck inspiration. Fuck aspiration. Fuck your goals. It was always about a man and his camera. And just I can get behind. I don't need to be the most famous. I don't need to be popular. I don't need to be rich. I don't need to accomplish anything. I'm just to do this camera. Believing in something. Believing in a possibility. Believing in an opportunity. Believing in a chance. Believing in the future. Not knowing what this future is. What if this job that I'm gonna start on Monday, hopefully, doesn't work out? But I meet a person, and this person talks to me about chakras and fucking cards and fucking zodiac sign and fucking rocks, right? And they make just enough sense for me they make just enough sense for me to start believing this shit. And then I become a spiritual content creator, right? Or what if, just like PewDiePie, and I was talking about this last week, and he's content creator, and now PewDiePie was the most successful because he has a kid and has a loving wife. What if these 4 years, these blood, sweat, and tears only have meaning as a single dude in his 30s? What if a dad Inc. or a married Inc.? What if this was all meaningless? What if I found purpose elsewhere? Right? But a big attraction to making content is purpose. Is it the leading cause? I don't know. I'll never know. And that's just fine. And we love you guys. Take it easy. Peace.